In a thrilling start to the 13th edition of the ODI World Cup, New Zealand exacted sweet revenge of their 2019 final loss to England at the explosive opener saw New Zealand choosing to bowl first after winning the toss at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. England managed to put up a total of 282 for 9 in their stipulated 50 overs, with Joe Root leading the way with 77 runs. New Zealand's disciplined bowling unit led by Matt Henry's 3-wicket restricted the defending champions. In a stunning response, New Zealand's Devon Conway, yes, the IPL hero, and Rachin Ravindra forged an incredible unbeaten 273-run partnership for the second wicket. They comfortably chased down the target of 283 in just 36.2 overs, exacting a sweet revenge. Yes, revenge from the 2019 final World Cup loss. Rachin Ravindra was rightfully named the player of the match for his stellar all-round performance. Now, let's shift our focus to the upcoming match at Hyderabad. The city of Nizams is ready to host the ICC Cricket World Cup for the third time. In the second match of this World Cup will be held between Pakistan and Netherlands at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, Hyderabad. The Netherlands, making a return to the World Cup after a decade, will face a formidable Pakistan side. Pakistan, once the #1 ODI team not long ago, is determined to kickstart the World Cup campaign with a victory. While the weather in Hyderabad looks clear, no rain is expected, so good sign of relief for our fans all across the world. It's worth noting that this is the first time the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium is hosting a World Cup match, and the crowd passion for the cricket remains as unwavering as ever. In the other news, we have an update from the Indian squad. India's golden boy, Shubman Gill, who has been red-hot form as late, has been diagnosed with dengue. This is surely a setback for Team India, as all the top youngsters are representing the country at the Asian Games, where they have just made to the final of the cricket competition, beating Bangladesh. Yes, it happened an hour ago that India defeated Bangladesh, and now who will replace Shubman Gill is still to be seen. Well, before we get into the Asian Games and the other discussion, let's move our focus to two of the important guests that have joined from West Indies and a studio panelist from Delhi studios. First, I'd like to go to Sheldon Cottrell, the salute man from the West Indies, the former West Indian pacer, and is still actively playing at the leagues and other places. We've got him exclusive for our fans in NewsX. Well, Sheldon, good morning and thank you for joining us. What's your view of the entire World Cup, the teams, the team matchup, and everything that you have to say?
I think it's going to be a big game for Netherlands, to be honest. They want to get it good. They want to get their World Cup going. And to play against a team like Pakistan, who is one of the favorite. I mean, it's going to be an uphill task from the get-go. But, I mean, Netherlands, it's not like they were selected to be in the World Cup. They earned the right to be in the World Cup. They have been playing good cricket over the past couple of months. They have some good players, some good young player mixed with a bit of experienced players. So I think it's going to be a good match. But as I said, playing against a powerhouse like Pakistan, it's going to be an uphill task. But it should be a good match to watch. With that and probably all of the World Cup matches, to be honest, I think this World Cup we're going to see the highest score in a 50 over game, to be honest. And I think it's going to be a very, very enjoyable World Cup overall. And all the teams are here to compete, so there's going to be no easy game.
Definitely.
Well, that was Sheldon Cottrell joining us from West Indies. We also have another West Indian player and former all-rounder, now a cricket coach, Raed Emrith. Raed, thank you for joining our studios in Delhi. Raed, what is your take on the overall World Cup and the match that has panned out? Yes.
Pakistan obviously starts as favourites in this match. Do they have the ability to go on to win the World Cup? I don't think so. I don't think this time around I think they're missing one of their key fast bowlers, Naseem Shah. I think they're playing very inconsistently at the moment. So I don't think they're going to win the World Cup. I don't think they have the chance to win the World Cup. Netherlands, on the other hand, player to look out for, Bas Dilly. I think he has been in excellent form. He has been turning up, delivering the goods for the Netherlands. So I think he is one of the guys that you really have to look out for and can turn the game around for the Netherlands. The Pakistan team, I think they're definitely going to be favourites for this game. They're definitely going to have the edge on the Netherlands in this game. I think because of the atmosphere, they've been to the World Cup so many times. They have a lot of game winners, a lot of match winners in their team. Fakhar Zaman, if he turns up, Shadab Khan, if he turns up, they're unstoppable, they're unbeatable. But I still think they're very inconsistent. So I'll give them the nudge in this game. So let's see how it goes.
Well, thank you, Rad. They're talking about their feelings about the match today. Remember, Netherlands is coming as the youngest team in this tournament to have played the least number of matches. In fact, as the statistics go, in the last 4 years, they've just managed to play under 20 odd ODIs, and that includes 6 or 7 of them playing at the earlier this year at the ICC qualifiers. You must also realize Holland or Netherlands have been going through a churn in the last couple of years. In fact, they walked into the ICC qualifiers early this year at Zimbabwe, where they actually qualified. But more importantly, before the qualification, 8 of their top players had to go and play at the regular county because it's a professional world, and they didn't think Netherlands could make it. Neither did we or any of us, because then they bring down the mighty West Indies down and they qualify for the World Cup. Well, joining me today on this discussion is a guest who's been a journalist or who's still writing and is also a podcaster. We talk about Dev Tyagi. Dev, thank you for joining.
It's a pleasure.
What are your views? Let's first celebrate the quarter-final and the semi-final at the Asian Games, which means India is in the finals. And how do you look at the entire situation?
No, I think it's absolutely brilliant. The epic knock played by Tilak Verma was sensational. It set the perfect tone to India's qualification for the big encounter now. Brilliant 55 unbeaten runs. But if you actually think about it, Tilak Verma's form has not been any kind of a surprise, because when he was back in the Caribbean, he started off his maiden T20 international under the Indian jersey with a fantastic knock. And then in the same series, he would play some blinders. He was actually being very aggressive, and he was rotating the strike and just the kind of stuff you expect from an enthusiastic youngster. But here we have somebody who's just 20 years old. So I think Tilak Verma's form has perfectly set the foundation to what could be a cracker of the next game for India. And yeah, I think it's now India's medal to lose.
Absolutely, it's India's medal to lose. But taking a step back, all the youngsters who've been in the team have played really well. So, you have the IPL heroes and the other under 21 players. Just take us through that.
Yeah, so great leadership also by Mr. Rituraj Gaikwad. One of the most, I would say, underappreciated amongst the younger talents. And I think there needs to be a lot more coverage in mainstream media, I would think, as a cricket journalist about him. His role has been exceptional. He's young, he hasn't led too many campaigns at this level. And, what comes out to him as his maiden assignment as a leader in the Asian Games 2023, what has he done? In his first ever opportunity, he's taken India to the final ultimate stage. Then we had the other day, we had Rinku Singh with his flashing brilliance down the lower order. The brilliant 37 unbeaten runs. I think it just came of 15 odd deliveries, which in the game, in the last game, and then this where we are here. And then we have Avesh Khan, who's been in amazing form. He doesn't actually get noticed that much. He's one of those talents who just sort of slips under the radar. So as you rightly said, sir, it's been a combination of massive confidence building up in this younger pool, and of course the valid IPL experience, which is shining bright.
Well, valid IPL experience that is shining bright, very rightly said. Now, let's go on to our second match of the series. But do you want to talk about the first and the opening match? How England was decimated by the Kiwis.
Yeah.
What do you think? What went wrong with England?
I think pretty much everything, and I think it's just one of those flip sides of taking a team like New Zealand lightly. Not that England would have deliberately wanted to do such a thing, because New Zealand have simply risen in the past half a decade of playing one-day international cricket in particular. If you actually think about it, the likes of Will Young, who just departed as early as he came, and the other guys, Tom Latham, they just didn't get a chance to bat. It was so comprehensively done. It was almost like they had just managed it in the mind that, okay, we're just going to go out there and we're going to hit them from the pulp of the blade and out of the park. And what a fascinating opening encounter.
Well, absolutely. It was fascinating. The interesting part of that thing was the way Kiwis handled the pressure and they went after the chase. There were no lights, there were no dew factor, there were no batting second, nothing. Everything was out of the window, and it was pure fun and pure chase and pure revenge. Do you think revenge was also part of it?
I wouldn't think particularly speaking, but of course I think if you look back at what happened in the 2019 finals at the Lords, then definitely the Kiwis had a score to settle. But they're not a team which plays, and I think they play for pride, they don't play for revenge. I think it's one of the quotes of Rahul Dravid also. And to my mind, I think that perfectly sums up how the New Zealanders approach their cricket. But I think special mention to Devon Conway. The way he batted was almost like at the end of his fantastic 152 not out. It's my way or the Conway.
Absolutely. It was my way. It was definitely Conway's way yesterday. Shifting our focus on to the match today at Hyderabad. You have the Minnows who've got nothing to lose, who are coming in together to form a kind of a big party here at the world stage. Right. You have Pakistan, who was recently the #1 team in formats of the game, and you had Babar Azam. But one interesting aspect here, I think Pakistan is made out to be far greater than they are. Would you agree to that?
I think yes and no. Pakistan is a bit of a capricious team. You just don't know what kind of Pakistan team is going to turn out on that particular day. I understand where you're coming from. There's always this level of unpredictability, but then Pakistan really have to now live up to all the hype which they rightly have been building around their talents, and the performances speak for themselves. The last time, of course, 2019 World Cup, Babar Azam, their brilliant captain, was the top scorer in the series, and he scored well over 400 runs. Some fantastic knocks out there. You have, despite the setback of Naseem Shah being ruled out, you still have Afridi, you still have Rauf, you still have some fantastic bowling and batting talents there. There's Fakhar Zaman, let's not rule him out. But the big question here is, can all of that actually lead up to Pakistan entering the final stages of the World Cup? That's the big question. But if you actually look at the mood of the game, I would say it would be a fool's errand to take the Dutch lightly. And of course, the Dutch would be thinking that, okay, let's go out there and let's paint the town orange.
Absolutely. The man who was responsible for setting the cricket channel in UK. David, did you enjoy England being mauled, your best country, your big supporter? Now it's time for the fans to take a dig at you. Come on, show us that smile.
Hold on. You're saying it was a mauling. A mauling is more appropriate usually when a lion mauls another animal. Are you saying that what you saw, Sunil, was similar to a mauling of a lion would give?
Well,
England is supposed.
That's for you to decide and just share with our fans.
I mean, I think England wear 3 lions on their shirts, but yes, absolutely, Sunil, they got the mauling that they deserved yesterday. They went into this match ill prepared with. Particularly on the bowling department, Mark Wood was surprisingly rested for all the warm-up matches. And it was a pretty poor performance from England. But let's turn it round. New Zealand are always superb World Cup campaign performers. They tend to make the business end of the tournament, and I fancy them on the strength of this showing to make the semi-finals at least, and they would be my wild card pick as an outside chance of overturning New Zealand in this tournament. What was interesting to me, it's the form of the players who've played and familiar with the conditions in India that's going to make a big difference. But I give you a prediction, Sunil, and that is in this tournament, having seen the mauling, your word, not mine, but I agree with it, given to Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali, and indeed to Joss Butler effectively. These guys who are only choosing to play 20-over cricket are going to be found out. This is a long-form game. You need someone who's going to score a century if you're going to win a match. A quick 20 is not enough.
David,
And
I'm going to interrupt you respectfully here and ask you the question. In fact, you were the first voices who actually said that there's no point playing the inconsequential T20s and the hundreds just before leading up to the ODI World Cup, the biggest stage, the biggest man. You were the biggest critic. You think your point has been vindicated and people now agree to what you had already predicted? Go on.
well, I hope that more fans will be tuning in to hear what we have to say, because we get it right, because we got the fact. We're talking to fans. I speak to fans the whole time when I go to the games. You won't find me buried away in the media centre. I'm out there talking to fans and I hear what they're saying. England fans are not happy. Just because they've got Ben Stokes and Baz McCullum running the test team, these two, Joss Butler, no captaincy experience, the man Mott from Australia, who's England's ODI coach, he's only ever coached women's games. He hasn't coached a men's team to international level. And I think they've been found wanting in the basic departments, and the fact that they're playing 3 players who don't play any long form of cricket. I think the players who will dominate this tournament are the ones with excellent first class records. Devon Conway and Ravindra. People have said what a surprise to see Ravindra scoring that 60-odd yesterday. He's opening batsman at first class cricket in New Zealand. And but these guys in the England team, they don't seem to really want to care about that.
Well, one last question, because I've just paratrooped into this morning bulletin and we've got our sports segment. One last question to you. Does it make you a sad England fan today?
I'm a sad fan in one sense because I'm a supporter of West Indies and they're not in this tournament. Sunil, Rugby World Cup, 24 teams. Football World Cup, Copa del Mundo, 48 teams. Why only 10 teams in the Cricket World Cup? It's absurd.
All right, that's all we had time for. Thank you, David Brooks, for joining us from that wonderful island in Spain that we're going to talk about next time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.